This woman could not outrun the horror that pursued her and transformed her flesh to stone. Book 2. The Burden of Thanatos. This simple farmer looks to have put up a fight, albeit in vain. "'Tis a note written on parchment. It reads, Elhood, the coals were unfit for the forge. Take care with the wood, you let it burn too high. Dirt first, then fire. See Sophos the shearer for kindling. Leonidas." This pile of dirt is intermingled with bits of dark, cold coal. The great white horse recognizes Argonus, and within moments carries the sailor of the Argo over the gorge and into the grey skies above. Whether the golden skin of these apples was transmuted or grew as such is just one of the many mysteries upon this isle. The great white horse recognizes Argonus, and within moments carries the sailor of the Argo over the gorge and into the grey skies above. Argonus takes a single cautious step forward before two eyes, set like burning coals, narrow and stop him cold. The daemon's grotesque head regards the sailor.
Me, Argonus, son of Argus, thou cannot pass beyond this threshold. So says Hades, lord of the underworld. For just as many legions doth serve me and obey my will, so too Thanatos obeys the will of he who governs the dead.
A dreadful gaze from the daemon is enough to bring Argonus to a standstill. Razor-sharp teeth part as it addresses the sailor.
I admire thy tenacity, Argonaut, but only my lord Hades can command Thanatos to stand aside.
Butte, kinsman and falconer, is no more. The land of Tegea has lost a favoured son. Bards will tell countless tales of Idas, he of boundless strength, and slayer of boar and centaur alike. It is obvious that this man was trying to shield the woman from harm. Unfortunately, he failed. This man was attempting to crawl away from that which would bring him doom. This stone is bereft of markings, offering no explanation for the small depression set into its surface. The yellow light it emits is curious. It is surprising to see an owl this white upon an isle such as this. The great statue of Hades, god of the underworld, lies still and dormant. This stone statue is that of quiet Phlius, cup-bearer of sweet wines, possessor of a lion's heart. Before Argonus can take another step, the Cyclops lumbers toward the sailor, blocking his way. A low growl flows from clenched teeth, its meaning clear. Do not approach the petrified juvenile. As soon as Argonus steps from the shadows, the daughters of Phorcys raise their heads, their shared eye sensing his presence. One of the Grey Witches lifts her frail arm and gestures. Immediately, the world begins to swim, and the sailor of the Argo finds himself elsewhere. "'Tis a monstrous Cyclops. Many a tale has been told about these one-eyed creatures. This juvenile was not immune to that which takes man and mystic creature alike. As soon as Argonus steps from the shadows, the daughters of Phorcys raise their heads, their shared eye sensing his presence. One of the Grey Witches lifts her frail arm and gestures. Immediately, the world begins to swim, and the sailor of the Argo finds himself elsewhere. The short sword has been transformed, its blade no longer pitted, its sharp edge made perfect for slashing or prying. Argonus drops the wood into the pit. There is nary room left for a single piece of wood. Argonus sets the shovel to dirt again and again until the planks are completely covered. With the exception of a large hole at the top, dirt covers the wooden pile, creating a simple kiln. The great statue of Hades stirs, as if waking from a long, deep slumber. The god of the underworld looks about before his gaze settles upon the sailor.
Argonus, son of Argus, the shipbuilder. I have heard your name spoken within the halls of Zeus, albeit in whispers, and even then through mediary. It is said that fair Athena herself has laid upon your frail shoulders a great burden. And while she charges you to seek out your comrades, I find it curious that the goddess of wisdom would care so much about that which Hades governs.
The god looks away, as if seeking something that even he cannot find.
I know a great many things, Argonus. I know when each soul departs this mortal coil. I know when they enter my realm, and I know on which dark river they set sail. However, what I do not know,
Hades says, his eyes once again turning toward Argonus,
is why the names of two sisters are also uttered high upon Olympus. There is an object, an orb that can grant me such an answer. Who would be my steward? Who would bring it here, to my temple, to me?
Without hesitation, Argonus nods. Pledge made, the god of the underworld stretches forth his hand, and a helm materializes before Argonus.
Take this helm of darkness. Wear it, and eyes will be blinded to you. Succeed in this boon, and I will provide you with something greater. A way forward where there was none. So says Hades, brother of Zeus and Poseidon, ruler of the dead.
And with that proclamation, the statue shifts once more and becomes silent. This stone is bereft of markings, offering no explanation for the small depressions set into its surface. The yellow light it emits is curious. Even with his keen eyesight, the Cyclops is nescient of the helm-wearing Argonaut. It does not take a chronicler nor a seer to recognize the women that warm themselves by the fire. They are the Grei, witches of well renown. A large fire such as this offers comfort to those who sit about it. With the aid of Hades' gift, the Grei are caught unawares as the smoke from the fire billows, carrying the potion within its grip. It takes naught but a few seconds for the witches to feel its effect, and one by one, they fall into a deep sleep. A simple concoction, thrown into the fire, has put the witches to sleep and rendered them powerless. In preparation for a meal, 3 eels have been nailed to this rack. 'Tis fitting that an iron cauldron is found here, standing at the ready. A glass calcinator, such as this, is essential when one practices alchemy. One can only speculate the strange purpose of such an apparatus. Finely embroidered pillows rest upon an equally elegant rug. A large fire such as this offers comfort to those who sit about it. Even with his keen eyesight, the Cyclops is nescient of the helm-wearing Argonaut. With the helm secure, Argonus attempts to slip past the daimon. The creature, however, is not so easily fooled.
Step no closer, Argonaut,
the daimon says.
Didst thou think that mighty Thanatos is as blind as the Grey Eye? Lord Hades has made all things known to his servant.
Enveloped in smoke, laced in poison, a massive creature bars entrance to the stone path ahead. Argonus holds out his hand, and the all-seeing eye of the Grey Eye rises. The god of the underworld stretches forth his arm, and light, not unlike that of a moonbeam, engulfs the sailor of the Argo. Argonus turns, and for the first time since setting foot upon this bedeviled isle, bears witness to his bane. With naught but a simple gaze, a woman, her hair like a nest of snakes, turns one of his shipmates into stone. The other creature, distraught, moves between the two, pleading. Stheno, this madness must end. How many more must perish to satiate your thirst for vengeance? Let us mourn our sister in peace. Let us return home. A flash of anger crosses Sthenno's face as she moves within mere inches of her cowering sister. Never, Euryale. There is no time to weep or wail, nor shall there be. Not as long as a single breath forms within my breast. The petty gods will pay. Wretched Athena will pay. From Hades' heart I will stab at them. For hate's sake, I shall drive my vengeance deep. Sthenno moves toward the looming entrance within the mount, but not before she pauses. When shall my hate have its fill? When shall it be placated? The woman whispers. Never, Euryale. Never. And with that, Sthenno is gone, and Euryale obediently follows her sister into the darkness, into her madness. The vision falters, and the light that fell from the hand of Hades follows before fading completely. The god of the underworld takes measure of Argonus, and with a final nod, the statue moves no more, and the helm vanishes from sight. At its own discretion, the witch's all-seeing eye shifts, not once, but 3 times within the satchel. As Argonus slowly approaches the poisonous cloud, the daimon cocks his head, as if listening to a voice only one such as he can. Seconds pass before the beast turns his attention to the sailor trembling before him.
Never hath there been a time when Thanatos was commanded to forsake those souls he was sent to gather. And yet, this is the will of Hades, the one to whom I am subject.
Once again, the daimon looks away before finally letting his dark gaze settle upon Argonus.
I fear this was brought to be by thine own hands, Argonaut. For without thy influence, the Lord of the Underworld would not call me hands. If I am to go forth, one must take my place. For if I cannot harvest the souls of those who remain between life and death, then the son of Argus must suffice.
Thanatos lifts a claw into the air, and without further explanation, utters a single word.
Menas ignis.
Argonus screams as his hand is momentarily enveloped in flame. Just as quickly as it arrived, the pain passes. As the sailor looks upon his new hand in both horror and awe, the daimon begins to dissipate, leaving only the smell of ash in its wake. Moments later, that too fades from this world. Under the watchful eye of the Cyclops, Argonus frees the soul of his friend, hoping the beast understands the sailor's intent. Argonus approaches the petrified creature slowly, glancing back and forth between it and the adult Cyclops. When Argonus reaches the stone creature, he realizes that the adult not only witnessed him freeing the soul of the Argonaut, but must have grasped what could be done for his child. Raising his hand slowly, Argonus allows the power of the diamond to flow through him and into the young Cyclops. The adult begins to wail as the stone breaks, falling to the earth just as the soul of the beast rises and dissipates. His mission of mercy complete, Argonus turns toward the huge beast, his head low. The creature looks at him for a moment, before turning and slowly disappearing from sight. Argonus watches in awe as he simultaneously destroys the stone bodies and frees the souls trapped within. As the statue crumbles to the ground, the soul of the villager rises and dissipates. As the statue crumbles to the ground, the soul of the villager rises and dissipates. Under his breath, Argonus mutters a prayer to Hades as the diamond's gift destroys the stone statue. The power of life and death flowing through him, Argonus reaches out and releases the soul of his A sigh escapes Argonus's lips as he uses the power of the diamond on the statue that was once his shipmate. The air about Argonus suddenly grows heavy, and without warning, a rift opens, and the favored daughter of Zeus steps through. Athena smiles at the sailor. Well done and done, Argonus. You have proved yourself much more than a historian, much more than a simple sailor. And now, I sense in you a new thing, the goddess says, tilting her head. Do not withhold this gift from those who sailed blue seas and grey swells. Nor should you give up on your brethren, for while many have fallen, some still live. Again, I say to you, seek them out and save them. For the ones that have brought them low, you have now seen with your own eyes. Stheno and Euryale, creatures of madness and spite. Athena's eyes narrow as she speaks with great authority. Gird yourself for what is ahead, son of Argus. Do not grow weary, for fair Athena is with you, and a boat awaits. The goddess slowly nods her head, and without another word, is taken up into the sky once more. The beating of wretched black wings can be heard far overhead. As the statue crumbles to the ground, the soul of the villager rises and dissipates. Although no fire burns within, this clay stove is still warm to the touch. The terror that has a grip on this island has easily overtaken this man. The note reads, Celeus, the beast upon the hill must once again be appeased. Its appetite for riches is becoming insatiable. It is signed, Tallius. Argonus watches in awe as he simultaneously destroys the stone body and frees the soul trapped within. The great Phidias of Athens himself could not craft a sculpture so lifelike, yet lifeless. This boy was caught off guard and had little time to discern friend from foe. This wooden chest is adorned with silver embellishments and a simple keyhole. As the statue crumbles to the ground, the soul of the villager rises and dissipates. As the statue crumbles to the ground, the soul of the villager rises and dissipates. Book 3, Forges and Fire. Neither man nor woman is granted mercy from the scourge that stalks this isle. As the statue crumbles to the ground, the soul of the villager rises and dissipates. Based on his posture, it is obvious that the terror that haunts this isle caught this man by surprise. Argonus gently moves his disfigured hand, causing the statue to shatter into pieces and fall to the sod. The owl appears mildly interested in the wanderings of wayfaring sailors. These silver adornments have been left as an offering to the god Hephaestus. Deep scratches mar the top of this stone pedestal. Marbled stone shifts as the spirit of Hephaestus enters the ornate statue shaped long ago by human hands. The god of the forge regards Argonus with unblinking eyes.
Who is this man before me? Surely not one who strikes the iron, nor one who stokes the fire. Nay.
The god continues, his brow furrowed.
They are no more, having fallen to that which fair Athena hath unleashed. Do not be deceived, sailor of the Argo. While it was Perseus's hand that sundered head from shoulders, the heart that drove the blade was assuredly that of the goddess.
Hephaestus pauses, deep in thought. When he speaks again, it is slow and measured.
I am loath to meddle in my sister's quarrels, either to directly help your quest to find your countrymen, or abate the scourge being wrought by the Gorgon's sisters. And yet, if you return the gold stolen from my temple, and tend my forge, I will grant you a light to drive away darkness.
The benevolent god nods before the statue becomes still once again. The remains of baskets are strewn upon the rocks. Perhaps these once contained offerings meant to satiate the beast. As soon as Argonus sets the apple upon the earth, a harpy descends, snatching it between sharp talons before returning to the safety of the grey skies above. The griffin, however, remains placid. The presence of such a paltry gift garners nothing more than an indifferent glance from the majestic beast. The gaze from the griffin brings the sailor pause. Argonus slowly retreats, leaving the golden treasure be. Gold can be seen, scattered throughout this massive nest. During his adventures, Argonus has beheld many a fabled beast. None, however, compare. The gaze from the griffin brings the sailor pause. Argonus slowly retreats, leaving the golden treasure be. Well skilled to attack a charging foe, Nauplius now stands frozen in time, never again to bear long arrows. This stone visage is of Pelles, warder of Thespia, who surpassed all men in naval skill, be it on high seas or curving shores. While this remnant has succumbed to wind and rain, it is unclear whether the remainder of this massive statue. The statue is no match for the power of the diamond. The stone shatters, releasing the soul of the Argonaut within. Stone explodes outward as the statue succumbs to the gift that the diamond bestowed upon Argonus. Argonus gently moves his disfigured hand, causing the statue to shatter into pieces and fall to the sod. This appears to be nothing more than a simple basket, perhaps used in a religious ceremony. Argonus adds the golden apples he is carrying to the basket. This statue is of Minos, the king of Crete and son of Zeus and Europa. Young Cepheus, aboard the Argo not but a fortnight, has succumbed to the very thing that has cursed this isle. The power of life and death flowing through him, Argonus reaches out and releases the soul of his fallen comrade. Despite a valiant effort, the great doors simply refuse to open. With a satisfying click, the keystone sets perfectly into the stone indentation. A notch in the doorframe can be seen behind this large stone statue, but cannot be reached. Argonus puts his weight against the stone, but is unable to move the statue even a hand's breadth. Without warning, the Cyclops appears, his single eye moving back and forth between Argonus and the broken statuary. The docile creature wraps its massive fingers around the stone fragment, and, with a grunt, moves the impediment aside. The Cyclops bellows at the sky before fixing its gaze on the historian. Argonus nods with understanding as the creature wanders away. The sailor's merciful boon has been paid back in full. Argonus approaches the griffin cautiously, glancing anxiously toward the skies before setting the gold-laden basket upon the sod. The beast immediately takes notice, as the treasure is simply too great to resist. After a moment, it leaves its hoard unguarded. All at once, the air is replete with the rush of wings and unearthly screams. The dogs of Zeus descend as one, intent on claiming the savory prize as their own. Although fear grips his breast, Argonus makes haste, quickly seizing several of the golden pieces before the unearthly combatants take notice. The gaze from the griffin brings the sailor pause. Argonus slowly retreats, leaving the golden treasure be. Like a hunter returning with prized spoils, Argonus holds the golden artifacts high, and the statue of Hephaestus stirs.
Well done, Argonus,
The god of smiths says, nodding.
While I will not interfere with that which has been set into motion, mighty Hephaestus can instruct, can he not?
The god motions to the forge.
4 things are paramount, Argonaut. Coal for the fire, air to stoke, metal to shape, and a tool to shape it.
He then points to Argonus.
Sailor, historian, mapmaker, and soon metallurgist. Surely your father Argus would approve.
And with that, Hephaestus looks away and moves no more. This stone forge is bereft of coal and, for the moment, useless. It would appear a piece of the forge is missing. With neither cow nor ox in sight, this cart would appear abandoned. Unless repaired, this discarded cart is of little use. Set within the rock, the carved hole appears to be wanting a key of sorts. The snow-white owl is beautiful and strangely comforting as well. Apparently under some spell, the great eye moves about within the satchel, as if to liberate itself from Argonus's possession. Cautiously, Argonus approaches the distraught grey eye, their one eye held out before him, an olive branch extended. Before he can utter a single word, the orb is lifted from his palm, and moments later, gently comes to rest in old, gnarled hands. The sailor braces for retribution, but none appears. The seeresses merely sit in silence. Finally, the first speaks, her voice low and raspy.
This we have not foreseen.
The second follows.
Stolen yet returned.
The third continues.
A quandary set before us. A wayward sailor? Athena's puppet? No, he is more than that.
The witches become quiet once again, staring into a fire that they cannot see, pondering the fate of an uncommon thief.
We know not where this ends.
The first breaks the silence.
We cannot stop it.
Says the second.
Mayhap this one can.
Finishes the third. With that, the first grey eye lifts her hand and slowly draws something in the air. The world around Argonus wavers, and he becomes a captive audience to words once spoken between goddess and mortal man.
Come, my lovely Medusa, lay with me again.
Oh please, great Poseidon, I cannot. I am sworn in service to Athena. Oh no. No!
Poseidon, you dare defile what is mine? And here, in my sacred temple?
Mind thy tongue, Athena. Yes, the Lord of the Seas dares. But what of it? Nothing you can do can bring me to harm.
Perhaps that is true. But the same cannot be said of this woman.
My goddess, please. Forgive me.
Athena, no!
As the words fade from his ears, Argonus searches for the witches in vain, wondering how a simple sailor can bear witness to such past events. "'Tis fitting that an iron cauldron is found here, standing at the ready." The great white horse recognizes Argonus, and within moments carries the sailor of the Argo over the gorge and into the grey skies above. The power of life and death flowing through him, Argonus reaches out and releases the soul of his fallen comrade. Argonus feels the power of the daimon leave him and enter that of his friend. In mere moments, the statue fails, releasing its stone grip on the man's soul. Argonus watches in awe as he simultaneously destroys the stone body and frees the soul trapped within. Unearthly power surges from Argonus's disfigured hand and into the statue. As it breaks apart and falls, the soul of the poor individual quickly departs this mortal world. Argonus holds out his hand and calls upon the power of the daimon. The statue quickly falters before collapsing completely. While impressive statues dedicated to the goddess Hera are not uncommon, the dearth of pious attendants is troubling. "'Tis Argonus, whose lyre charmed stubborn rocks upon the mountains and the course of rivers. Knowing that nothing else can be done for his friend, Argonus uses the power of the daimon to release the Argonaut's soul. With a simple gesture, Argonus frees the soul of the animal from its stone prison. Argonus watches in awe as he simultaneously destroys the stone body and frees the soul trapped within. It appears that little time was spent in crafting this small table and accompanying chairs. Poorly made wooden chairs frame an equally paltry table. Only a few items remain on this small wooden shelf. Wooden planks and animal skins do not a comfortable bed make. Argonus watches in awe as he simultaneously destroys the stone body and frees the soul trapped within. As the statue crumbles to the ground, the soul of the villager rises and dissipates. Argonus watches in awe as he simultaneously destroys the stone bodies and frees the souls trapped within. Argonus calls upon the power of the daimon, turning the stone statue into nothing more than dust. Neither discarded coins nor any telltale markings can be seen within this fount. Argonus holds out his hand and calls upon the power of the daimon. The statue quickly falters before collapsing completely. The power of life and death flowing through him, Argonus reaches out and releases the soul of his fallen comrade. Argonus gently moves his disfigured hand, causing the statue to shatter into pieces and fall to the sod. With a simple gesture, Argonus frees the soul of the animal from its stone prison. Argonus calls upon the power of the daimon, turning the stone statue into nothing more than dust. Argonus holds out his hand and calls upon the power of the daimon. The statue quickly falters before collapsing completely. Never did Argonus imagine that he would witness such horrors upon his friends, much less be the instrument of their salvation. The power of life and death flowing through him, Argonus reaches out and releases the soul of his fallen comrade. Never did Argonus imagine that he would witness such horrors upon his friends, much less be the instrument of their salvation. Stone explodes outward as the statue succumbs to the gift that the daimon bestowed upon Argonus. Under his breath, Argonus mutters a prayer to Hades as the daimon's gift destroys the stone statue. Never did Argonus imagine that he would witness such horrors upon his friends, much less be the instrument of their salvation. Knowing that nothing else can be done for his friend, Argonus uses the power of the daimon to release. A sigh escapes Argonus's lips as he uses the power of the daimon on the statue that was once his shipmate. With a simple gesture, Argonus frees the soul of the animal from its stone prison. With a simple gesture, Argonus frees the soul of the animal from its stone prison. Argonus gently moves his disfigured hand, causing the statue to shatter into pieces and fall to the sod. Stone explodes outward as the statue succumbs to the gift that the daimon bestowed upon Argonus. Argonus feels the power of the daimon leave him and enter that of his friend. In mere moments, the power of life and death flowing through him, Argonus reaches out and releases the soul of his fallen comrade. Stone explodes outward as the statue succumbs to the gift that the diamond bestowed upon Argonus. Argonus releases the diamond's power, freeing the soul of his friend from his prison of stone. Stone explodes outward as the statue succumbs to the gift that the diamond bestowed upon Argonus. Knowing that nothing else can be done for his friend, Argonus uses the power of the diamond to release the Argonaut's soul. Argonus releases the diamond's power, freeing the soul of his friend from his prison of stone. As the Hydra crumbles to the sod, the soul of the beast does not appear, nor does it succumb to Hades' call and depart to the underworld. Argonus gently moves his disfigured hand, causing the statue to shatter into pieces and fall to the sod. Argonus watches in awe as he simultaneously destroys the stone body and frees the soul trapped within. Grace falls from the sailor's deformed hand as Argonus frees the soul of the worshipper. Grace falls from the sailor's deformed hand as Argonus frees the soul of the worshipper. Unearthly power surges from Argonus's disfigured hand and into the statue. As the statue crumbles to the ground, the soul of the villager rises and dissipates. Argonus releases the diamond's power, freeing the soul of his friend from his prison of stone. The great white horse recognizes Argonus, and within moments carries the sailor of the Argo over the gorge and into the grey skies above. Argonus sets the key into the keyhole before pulling open the lid, revealing its contents.